Goldilocks. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who was called Goldilocks because her hair was so blonde and radiant that it seemed like real gold. She lived with her parents in a little village near the forest. Her mom had warned her many times not to go in the forest alone because it was very dangerous. Goldilocks was very curious, and in spite of her mother's warnings, one day she decided to go for a walk in the forest. It was such a pretty path full of colorful flowers. "Why don't I make a posy for Mom?" thought Goldilocks. "She'll be very pleased." She chose the prettiest flowers and didn't realize that she was going deeper into the forest. Suddenly, she noticed that she had lost the path that meandered between the trees. How would she ever get home? Goldilocks started to cry. She was tired and didn't know which way to turn. Then she saw a sunny clearing between the trees in the distance. She approached it slowly. She couldn't believe her eyes. In that small clearing, there was a little house with a smoking chimney. It smelled so good that it made her hungry. "I will have a look through the window," she thought. "What a strange house," she said to herself. "I will see if I go in." She pushed the door a little and it opened straight away. What a pretty table, and what lovely bowls of porridge. As she was very tired, she decided to take a rest before tasting the porridge. There were 3 chairs, a large one, a medium-sized one, and a little one. First, she sat on the large chair, but it was too hard. Then she sat on the medium-sized one, but it was too soft. Lastly, she sat on the little chair, and it was neither hard nor soft. It was very comfortable. Goldilocks broke the little chair. It was time to test the porridge. First, she tried the porridge in the large bowl. It was too hot. Then, she tried the porridge in the medium-sized bowl. It was too cold. Lastly, she tried the porridge in the small bowl, and it was neither hot nor cold. It was delicious. Goldilocks ate it all up. When she had finished the delicious porridge, she became very tired. Before starting to look for the way back, "I'll rest for a while," she said to herself. She opened the bedroom door and she was thrilled. It was just what she needed. It was a clean and tidy bedroom with 3 beds in a row that seemed to be waiting for her. One was large, the other was medium-sized, and the last one was the smallest. First, she got into the large bed, but it was too high. Then she got into the medium-sized bed, but it was too low. Lastly, she got into the small bed and it was neither high nor low. It was just right. Goldilocks fell into the deep sleep. While she was resting, the three bears returned home. One of the bears was large, another was medium, and the other one was a tiny little bear. The large bear went to his chair and said in a loud voice, "Somebody's been sitting in my chair." The medium-sized bear said in a soft voice, "Somebody's been sitting in my chair too." The little bear said in a squeaky voice, "Somebody's been sitting in my chair and they've broken it." When they look at the bowls of porridge, "Somebody's been eating my porridge," said the large bear, surprised. "Somebody's been eating my porridge," said the medium-sized bear angrily. "Somebody's been eating my porridge and they've eaten it all up," said the little bear worriedly. When they went into the bedroom, "Somebody's messed up my bed," said the large bear. "Somebody's been lying in my bed," said the medium-sized bear. "Somebody's got into my bed and they're still sleeping in it," said the little bear. Goldilocks woke up. She was very shocked when she saw the three bears watching her. Then she remembered the dangers her mother had warned her about. Luckily, the three bears found her so pretty that they became friends at once. But Goldilocks had to go home as soon as possible because her mother must be very worried. The little bear showed her the path so that she could get back home. "Come back whenever you want, Goldilocks," they told her as she fled through the forest. When she got home, Goldilocks hugged her mom, who had been waiting for her very worried, and told her that she was very sorry for having disobeyed her and that she would never do it again. The Three Little Pigs. Once upon a time, there was a family of little pigs who lived together. The three brother pigs had grown up and the time had come for them to have their own houses. The first little pig, the laziest of the family, thought that if he gathered a little straw from the fields, he would quickly be able to build a good hut, and he asked the farmer who was harvesting it, "Please, farmer, will you give me a little straw to build myself a hut?" In no time at all, he built the hut. It was very small, but as he slept alone there, it was large enough. When he had finished, he went out to play. The second little pig, the greediest of the family, wanted to build himself a wooden house so that he could finish it quickly and go off and eat apples, which was what he liked best. He met a woodcutter who was cutting tree trunks and making piles of firewood, and he asked him, "Please, woodcutter, will you give me some logs to build myself a cabin?" And with several logs and some branches for the roof, he quickly finished the cabin. He didn't take long to build it and went off to eat apples and play with his brother. The third little pig, the most hard-working, decided to make himself a house from bricks and mortar. He would take longer to build it, but he would be more protected. Luckily, he soon met a bricklayer loaded with bricks. "Please, bricklayer, would you give me some bricks to raise 4 walls?" he asked him. "Of course, you will have a lovely house," replied the bricklayer. So the third little pig started to build himself a house, working without stopping, laying the bricks with the cement. By the time he had finished, it was dark. He was very pleased with his new house. He had a door, windows, a roof, and even a fireplace. After a hard day's work, the house was lovely. It was worth making so much effort. A wolf was prowling around the valleys where the 3 little pigs lived, and he soon heard that the little pigs had left their parents' home, and he set out to find them. The wolf was always hungry, and the thought of eating them made his mouth water. First, he went to the pig with the straw house. When he arrived, he knocked at the door. "Knock, knock, knock." "Open the door," shouted the wolf. "I won't," replied the little pig. "Well, I will huff and I will puff, and I will blow your house down." And all the straw was spread about. The little pig started running until he reached his brother's house. When they were both inside, the wolf called again. "We won't let you in," the little pigs told him, trembling with fear. "Well, I will huff and I will puff, and I will blow your house down." And he believed until the house fell down. The 2 little pigs ran very hard until they reached their brother's big house. When they were inside his house, the wolf arrived. "Open up," said the wolf furiously. "Otherwise, I will huff and I will puff, and I will blow your house down." "You can blow all you like, but we won't let you in," replied the little pigs calmly. The wolf believed and believed, but this time the house didn't move. The house was very strong and resistant. The wolf was out of breath. He was very tired, he didn't give up. He went to fetch a ladder, climbed onto the roof, and jumped down the chimney. He wanted to get inside the house to eat the little pigs, and he wouldn't stop until he managed it. But he didn't know that the pigs had lit the fire. The wolf scorched his tail when he fell down the chimney. He let out a spine-chilling cry. After the shock, he went far away and never went near another pig as long as he lived. The three little pigs lived together happily in the elder brother's house. They had learned that it takes effort to do things well, and it's better to dedicate time to them than to do things in a hurry. If you do things any old way, they don't turn out well. Like what happened with the houses. They fell down with one below. Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a sweet little girl called Little Red Riding Hood. They called her that because she always went out with the red cape that her grandmother had sewn for her. Little Red Riding Hood loved her grandmother very much. She lived in the middle of the forest. One day, her mother told her, "Little Red Riding Hood, you must take this basket to grandmother because she is sick." Her mother had placed some cake, milk, and a jar of honey in the basket. Before she left the house, her mother told her not to linger on the path through the forest and to hurry back from her grandmother's house. Grandmother lived a long way away, and Little Red Riding Hood had a long walk. When Little Red Riding Hood reached the forest, she saw so many flowers on the both sides of the path that she forgot what her mother had told her and started to make a posy for her grandmother. Then she will be pleased and will get better, she said to herself. When she had finished the posy, the wolf went to meet her. "Hello, Little Red Riding Hood. Where are you going with so many things?" said the wolf. "I'm going to my grandmother's house because she is sick. I'm taking her some cake, milk, and a jar of honey," she replied. Little Red Riding Hood continued walking peacefully, but the wolf said, "If you take the other path with the tall trees, you'll reach your grandmother's house sooner. It's much shorter." "All right," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Then I will see grandmother sooner." The wolf had tricked Little Red Riding Hood to be able to reach the grandmother's house before her. He ran and quickly arrived. "Knock, knock," he called at the door. "Who is it?" replied the grandmother from her bed. "I'm Little Red Riding Hood. I brought you a basket full of," lied the wolf in a high voice. "Come in, Little Red Riding Hood. The door is open," said the grandmother. So the wolf entered the house. He took the grandmother and shut her in the wardrobe. The wolf dressed up in her grandmother's clothing, and he even put her glasses on. Then he got into the bed. Now he just had to wait for Little Red Riding Hood to arrive. When Little Red Riding Hood arrived, she was surprised to find the door wide open and said, "Hello, grandmother. I'm here. I brought you some food and flowers to make you happy." But nobody answered. Little Red Riding Hood went up to the bed, and when she saw her grandmother, she said, "Grandmother, what big ears you got!" "All the better to hear you with," replied the wolf in a high voice. "And what big eyes you got!" said the girl, very surprised. "All the better to see you with," he replied. "Oh, grandmother, what a big mouth you got!" said Little Red Riding Hood, with eyes as big as dinner plates. And the wolf jumped out of the bed and shouted, "All the better to eat you with." Luckily, there were some hunters passing through the forest path at that moment. "It's strange to hear shouting from the grandmother's house," said the youngest hunter. "And so much. We better go in and see if she needs something," replied the other hunter. The man threw the wolf out of the house, and the beast went far away with his tail between his legs. When Little Red Riding Hood ran to the wardrobe to free her grandmother, what a big hug they gave each other after the shock they had. When everything was over, the hunter's grandmother and the girls sat around the table and peacefully ate what Little Red Riding Hood was carrying in her basket. They had never tasted such a delicious cake with a glass of warm milk and honey. Before leaving, Little Red Riding Hood promised her grandmother never again to linger along the forest path. "I promise, grandmother," she said. "I will always be careful when I go on my own, and I will never speak to strangers again." Her grandmother smiled. She felt better already.